welcome to Wendy's Colouring, and obviously today I'm doing my end of the month video, so end of May, don't even know what month it is. And as you can see, I've got some done. Oops, tipping the whole pile over. Yeah, not what I wanted to get done, but if I'm honest, this month has been a nightmare, absolute nightmare, with one thing and another. Life, you know how it is. Yeah, my heating broke in the house, and so that's meant that I've had to have the whole thing basically renewed, whole new radiators, whole new boiler. Yeah, it's been chaos. I can't find a quiet minute to actually do some colouring. Mission impossible, because you've got to move furniture, and then you've got to clean behind that furniture, then you've got to move the furniture again, then there's radiator leaking, and so on. Then they're fitting the new boiler in the loft, and they find a bee's nest. So the man is up there fitting a boiler with bees buzzing around his head. And that's basically been what this month has been like. So yeah, it's not been the most relaxing. I'd like to say I'm at the end of it, but we've still got a couple of issues that they're coming back to look at. So yeah, I think the worst is over, thankfully. Plus, work is very busy in the UK. It's exam season for 16-year-olds, so that's obviously very busy at work as well. So the combination of the both of them meant that, yeah, finding time to do fun things was a bit tricky. So anyway, enough moaning on and explaining my woes, because no one cares, do they? It doesn't matter, does it? This is a whip from Hannah Carlson. Tales from the Witch's Cottage. Totally lost my mind then. That'll happen a lot today, I feel. Yeah, so this is a whip. I'm a third of the way through, so I've started this much. So as you can see, I've done her skin. Might still do another layer on her skin yet. Don't know if there's some bits that I'm not totally happy with. And yeah, I always get a bit of pencil texture that sometimes I'm like, nah, I don't want the texture. So yeah, it might get another layer yet. The skin is luminance and derwent drawing, because I tend to always chicken out and use that for skin. And it has had a bit of paint marker, one of my Karen pigment markers. And as you can see, I've started on her hair, not got too far with her hair. Again, still needs a few more layers here and there. It's got no highlights really yet. I've not done any of the pen work yet. This is light fast, I think. All her hair. Might have used one of the Holbeins in the lighter sections, but I think from memory it's just the light fast. Somewhere I've got a little note in here with it on. Oh, I hope I have. It might be in my actual bag. Oh yeah, it's looking like it must be in my bag. I'm hoping it's in my bag, because otherwise I don't know what pencils I've used. Yeah, so this one's been at work, because like I say, I go in early, been working on it, bits and pieces. Skin doesn't take me that long really. You're just building up the layers, and like I say, I think it needs a couple more in the places, if I can be bothered. We'll see. So yeah, that's my whip for the month. That's got to go back into my work bag. Then the rest of them, if I'm honest, I've gone for easy colouring for obvious reasons this month. I've just gone for comfortable colouring in books that pretty much most of them I'm comfortable with, and I've not, you know, there's no surprises with it. There's probably no surprises today in any of my bits and pieces. This was new in my haul. I think it did come in April actually, but obviously I've only just released that video. But I've done this little one, first page, just to see what these are like really. And the answer, does the paper warp? Yes, the paper does warp, if you're interested. But then they're cheap. I think it was like £2 or something like that. So, and you get this little palette-y thing. As you can see, I have used the palette-y thing. It is kind of perforated a little bit between them, so that obviously the idea is you take them out, you rip off this bit of painting section, and then you can just use the bookmark as it is. I probably will keep them in the book, although I do use bookmarks obviously for these kind of things. I don't know, I suppose because I've worked on it, I kind of don't want to use it as a bookmark. But yeah, I've used the watercolour from the book. I've got a very small set of super colour soft Caran d'Ache watercolour pencils. I've used those. I think there's only 12 in them, and I think I have 4 loose ones as well that are slightly lighter colours. So quite a limited palette for me in terms of pencils. I've used some of my Caselli gel pens. I've probably said that wrong. Hold on. They're literally behind me. This set, again, I think they were in one of my January Christmas hauls, that kind of thing, but it's this cheap brand off Amazon. Excuse my creaky chair while I put them back on the shelf. Again, because they were just easy to get to, I'll be totally honest. And a couple of Artex markers, but not very much really in the main. Normally for me, I probably would have done a bit more on it. But yeah, they were fun, quick colour. You're going on a holiday or something like that and you want to take a little bit of something to do. I think these are a great little idea to take with you, because they're light. The little brush that went in it, is it in my pencil thing? Yeah, the little brush that goes in it is, well, as you can see, it's not brilliant. And some of these are quite fine, particularly the next one. I noticed this brush would be useless for any of these, so I think you would need a brush rather than the little one that it sits in this back thing in there, which obviously kept falling out when I was using it, so it's no longer sitting in there. It's an okay brush, but it's probably a bit too big bristles to get into some of these, but if you're just doing a wash for the background in these little spaces, it's probably okay. Paint was okay. It is what it is, isn't it? It's cheap. It's probably meant for kids, isn't it? Let's be honest. But yeah, it was quite a bit of fun. And like I say, I've just done a little bit of pencil colour over the top and a little bit of gel pen, bit of glittery in her jewellery and bits and pieces like that. The odd bit in the butterfly and bits like that. But yeah, quick colour. My dear Fairy Tale Dream watercolour pencils. There seem to be watercolour pencils, watercolour painting. Can't talk, sorry. There seems to be quite a few of these about, so plenty to find on Amazon, or I got mine from Ault if you'd want it to. Then another quick colouring for, again, obvious reasons. Welcome to the Village by Morgan O'Brien. I noticed that this has vanished now off Amazon, no longer in stock, which obviously they were never in stock. They print them on demand, don't they? So I'm guessing that he's been forced to take them off. I noticed this one and the Grogan one, that's also gone as well. Morgan O'Brien does have a second book of this though. It is available on his website that you can download for free. I think is it on his Ko-fi? If you go to his Instagram anyway, his links are all there and you'll be able to find it. I'll try and add it at the bottom if I remember when I'm editing. But yeah, the second book of this is available as a free download, which I did the other day. I forget who I heard mention it. Someone did mention it that I was watching, and I quite like this book. Obviously it's a bit naughty, isn't it? But you know, copyright, all that. But I do quite enjoy this book, and there's nothing else like it, so it's not like this taking something that somebody else is. Yeah, so yabbering on. I've done this page anyway. This was my Spectrum Noir Tri-Brush markers. It's basically a pen page, this, which again is fairly unusual for me. Oh look, I've not gone around them yellow. That's going to annoy me. Now I've seen it. These will be going around in yellow pen when I remember to come back and do some more. But yeah, my Spectrum Tri-Brush markers, because again you don't need loads of them, and you've got quite a I can't talk, range of colour palette. I shouldn't try and do this video today. This is why it's already late, because I have no brain left. Artex paint markers, obviously. A couple of Deco pigment markers by Karen. Posca pen and a couple of Tule Art paint markers as well. So it's basically alcohol markers and some paint markers over the top, and that is pretty much it. Oh, I think I did use my Copics for a skin, because I don't know why, but I don't quite like the skin tones in the Spectrum Noir. They kind of always feel a touch orangey for me. Personal choice, isn't it? But yeah, it's pretty much all pen, other than the stupid bit at the bottom that I've clearly forgotten to go over in my... I don't know how I've managed to do the flowers and not do these little... Idiot. Anyway, doesn't surprise me this month. But yeah, that's just all of my little page out of this. Lovely. Might as well pop my notes back in while I'm there. Out of lovely Welcome to the Village by Morgan O'Brien, which sadly doesn't look like you're going to be able to get, but you can get the new one for free off Morgan O'Brien himself. So I quite like this book. It's quite fun. Then I've done a page. This was a Christmas present to me. I think did my brother get this or my brother's girlfriend? I think my brother's girlfriend got me this one. Get them mixed up because they both got me one at the same time, but I think she bought this one. Valet by Marie Troll. Another lovely book. And I've done my first page in this one. And get my gubbing notes out the way. This was, it feels like ages ago since I saw this page. This was before chaos erupted and I actually had a brain. Yeah, I quite enjoyed doing this page with these cute little dragons on, and I always enjoy a bit of flower work. It's quite relaxing, isn't it? Sometimes you can just concentrate on the technique and you're not worrying too much about, oh, what am I doing here? What am I doing there? Yeah, I quite enjoy a little flowery page, and the dragons are cute, so yeah. That's always good. Background, this kind of, I don't know how well the camera picks it up really. It's kind of purple in one direction, isn't it? And it has like a pink sheen in the other, but it's quite a muted purple I quite like. It's another of my Supervision watercolours. I'm really quite enjoying those. They were on offer on Amazon. I don't know if I've showed them actually. Anyway, it's some of those, Supervision watercolour. Pencil work is my usual Luminance and Holbein. Quite like them on this paper. And a bit of Artex paint pen. Again, no great miracles occurring on here. It's just a fun page that I've enjoyed working on this month. And I'm quite enjoying those watercolours. And I don't think this page has taken it quite as well, the watercolour. It's a bit difficult to show you how much the page has buckled. It has buckled a little bit more than I think it was booked in. I'm working last month. I see it. I worked in the other one anyway last month, and I think it's a little bit of an older book, and I think the paper is just a tinsy bit better, but I still think this has taken the watercolour quite well. I'd be quite happy to use watercolour in this one as well. Just being careful not to flood it too much because it does buckle, but it's already flattened quite a bit, and I think once it's back in the bookcase for a little bit of time and under pressure, I think it'll flatten again quite easily. But yeah, my first page from Valet by Marie Troll. Trolle, who knows? Perhaps one day she'll tell us how to pronounce it. Might be handy, might it? I've not worked in this one for a couple of months, so I thought I'd better had Little Secrets from my Fairy House by Clara Markova. Again, this was quite early in the month before chaos erupted. And I've worked on a mermaid page. I don't think I've done any of her mermaid pages before, but this is a cute book. And yeah, for some reason, I'm not too fussed about doing mermaids at the moment. Normally I'm like that. I hate them, not doing them. But yeah, at the moment, I'm kind of wanting to colour them, maybe. Don't know if I'd go quite that far, but I'm enjoying colouring them nonetheless, so I've done them. I'm still not sure about him. This thing has a very strange face, doesn't it, for an octopus? It does freak me out a bit. I kind of preferred his painting version of him than his real version, if you know what I mean. Maybe you don't, because I'm talking rubbish. This is in Holbein pencils. I do like Holbein on this paper. And I quite like Holbein because the colour palette in them is quite strong and bright. And that kind of, in my mind, fits with Clara's drawings. Because obviously they're quite imaginative, aren't they? They're a little bit silly. And I kind of feel they need that kind of strong colour. I've used Spectrum Mark flip markers just in some of the metallic sections. I think it's mainly in jewellery and headdresses and things like that, or it might have been here in the shell. Little bits like that. Artex paint pens, obviously. Posca pen, the white one, I would have thought. Oh, and I did put a bit of Neuro glitter gloss on, but they kind of didn't work. It was on her tail a little bit and in her hair. I don't think you can see it even. A little bit. It kind of just sat on, because I think the Holbeins, although they are a oil fat mix, aren't they, wax mix, it kind of just sat on the top, and I thought, oh, it's never going to dry. And it did dry eventually, but it was drying quite patchy. So I did kind of dab a little bit off again because I was a bit worried about how it was going to dry. Yeah, you can see it's a little bit on her tail, but yeah, it kind of sat on top of the coloured pencil. It didn't, like it was resisting it, basically, was what was happening with it. So I'd probably been better with something like Stickles or something like that, I think. But because I've still got an awful lot of this book to colour ahead of this page, I didn't want anything with texture on. I know you can put a wad of things in between, but it still annoys me just to be able to feel it. So maybe if I ever finish this book, I'll go back and add some proper glitter on some of the pages that I actually want it to be. But yeah, I enjoyed this page, and I did do all the background in colour pencil. Why? Because I like the colours is the reason. And obviously I'm a bit of a control freak, and it does allow you to really control where you're adding in the green and where you're layering the next colour in. So yeah, all the back, it's pretty much all colour pencil mainly. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it. But yeah, I'm still finding this little face a bit weird. Slightly freaks me out a little bit, I think. I think it's because it's overly human-like, isn't it? And he's got quite a strange nose. I could go on, but I won't. Little Secrets from My Fairy House by Clara Markova. And then I've not worked in this one for a couple of months, so I got this one out. Magic Diary by Coco Wyo. Goodness knows what's happening with Coco Wyo. Obviously they've got an Amazon issue at the moment. But yeah, I do still... Oh, please don't stick. There we go. I do really like these 8x8 square books. They're a good quick colour. I've done this little go quite a few times now. Today I chose to go a bit stronger with the colours. So I think previously I'd gone quite soft with the colour palette. Like that one is quite a bit softer. And I think the first page that I did, yeah, that one is even lighter again. I'm getting a bit more used to what I can do with the Artex pencils now, and how they'll work and what will work and what won't work. They do definitely suit the Amazon paper, and I think if you work in Amazon books quite a lot, the Artex are fine with that. They do like a bit of texture, but certainly I went for a slightly stronger colour palette this time, and I think I prefer it. Background pink is a chameleon colour tone alcohol marker. Can I reach one? You know what I mean? Just about reach one of these things, whatever they're called. What are they called? Chameleon. Oh, they are chameleon colour tones. Them, had them for donkey's years. Thought actually I may as well just use some up, hadn't I? And I was a bit worried it'd go a bit patchy in the background, but actually it's beautiful ink in those pens, and there's a little bit patch there if I'm being a bit picky. But overall, I don't think it's a bad background for an alcohol marker in the background. Quite pleased with it. Artex pencils, like I said, obviously Artex paint pens. Pentel Dual Hybrid in green, I've said, but I can't see it. Now I'm saying it. Surely not green. Definitely Signo Glittering Gold, which I can see. A little bit in a trim and a dress, obviously in the title. I don't know where I've done the green though. I'm not seeing the green now. What's green that needed to... Oh, on the book. That's what it is. Yeah, it's on the book. Look, that's where... In the little trim bits in the book. So it has a little bit of sparkle on. Not too much though. I think my only gripe with this book really is obviously it has hurt this girl in a lot, and they're very similar poses. She's always wearing the same thing. It's a bit samey. Like that's pretty much the same as I've just done. That's pretty much the same as, but she's got sat down legs. There are these doubles that are slightly different, I suppose, but I kind of feel like I've done this quite a few times in this book. Like it's all just closer up of the same, sideways but the same. And I think that's my only feeling about this book really. I've coloured her in now 3 times, and I kind of feel like I'm a bit over colouring her in a bit. I don't know. Maybe if I have a break from it and then come back to it, or maybe if I do one of these more involved pages, I won't feel like that. But I think it's a little bit samey, this book. Would be my only criticism of it. I think I prefer the other one with the animals in. That's their other 8x8 book. If they ever come back, please come back. But Coco Wyo Magic Diary hopefully will be coming back. If not, they keep talking about having some PDF sales somewhere, don't they? I don't think they're quite organised it yet. Then this I got a while ago now, and it was uncoloured, so I thought no, this month it needs to be coloured. I need to do something with it. So Eco Neko colouring book, Animal Parade. Beautiful book. It's a bit quirky, and I did go this month for the unicorn with pancakes, especially for you, Pixie. I coloured these pancakes especially for you because you liked me being silly about them. Sorry. Yeah, I quite enjoyed this page. Although it feels quite smooth, you might notice on my cut pencil it kind of left quite a lot of texture pencil marks on it, so it's quite strange paper, this book. Maybe I've just used the wrong pencil. Maybe I need to use something a bit more waxy. I use my luminance and Holbein's. I'm thinking that was perhaps a mistake. I think next time I work in this, I'm going to try maybe Prismas or Chromaflows. Don't Chromaflows, something that are definitely more on the wax, because it's very smooth. So yeah, I was quite surprised you're getting this kind of, almost like the paper's got texture in it, but it doesn't feel like it does. It's quite strange. It's lovely paper, it's good quality paper. But yeah, I think that's the only thing I've noticed about this, and once you've started, it's too late now, I can't really swap, it's going to look odd. Well, next time, like I say, I might try something more waxy and we'll see how it goes. Backgrounds are gelatos. I've not used them for ages either, but this has a lot of backgrounds in, and I hummed about lighting effects like he was in the circus and bits and pieces like that, but I was like, no, in the end, no, it's just going to have a gelato background, and it kind of feel like he's illuminated, but I could have done a bit more with it. I've been a bit lazy, I think, really, but I quite enjoyed colouring him. He was quite fun. Obviously, colour palette is quite bright, so it suits me down to the ground. Usual Artex paint can't talk again, put my teeth in. Artex paint markers, and the little bits of sparkle that you can see are just my watercolour paints, so they're just some of the ones I've made myself. There's a video right near the beginning of my start of my channel if you're interested on how to make them, but yeah, they're just some of my own that are there in the mane, on the horn, in her eyebrows, no, not eyebrows, in her eyes, and on some of the trim and in her hair and things like that. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it, and simple enough. Might have a go at the giraffe, who knows, but yeah, it's quite a strange book. I didn't find the purple was too difficult, because this is printed in like a purple ink. Some of it's purple, some of it's blue, and the green ones, or am I imagining it? Yeah, there's this kind of grey-green colour as well. It is still quite strong print, so I'd done the unicorn as purple, so it wasn't a big deal to me, but obviously the giraffe I'm not going to do purple, so whether that would cause more problems when you're trying to work over than black, I don't know. Obviously I'm not going to want purple coming through on a giraffe, so maybe it might cause more problems in the future, I don't know, but on this one it didn't. And like I say, the paper is lovely. I think this will take a little bit of watercolour. I probably will do a gelato background just so that the two kind of sit nicely together, but I think the next one, I won't be watercolouring that one, too complicated, but maybe the birds, something like that. I might try a bit of watercolour in here, because like I say, the paper is nice. It's a fun little book, a little bit silly. Sadly, I got mine from Book Depository. Now it'd have to be an Etsy order, I think, if you're really interested in it. But Eco Neko, colouring book, Animal Parade. It is a very pretty but quite quirky book. And then my last one this month is back to a favourite, Magical Dawn by Hannah Carlson. I did fancy doing one of her, look how dirty my cover is on this, excuse my messy cover. I did fancy doing one of her mermaids, I don't know what do you call them. I dumped it out about doing that double in Daydreams that I kind of wanted to do from early on when I first bought that book. But I thought, no, actually, I'm going to do this one, because, hey, this is my favourite book anyway. And also it gives me time to just see how I feel about it and play about with it and have a go at some bits and pieces without worrying too much about, oh no, I'm ruining that double page. I'm going to do that double page though eventually. I've decided now. I don't feel the fear having done this one. So skin is my usual, same as the one I've been working on earlier on really, is luminance and derwent drawing over the top. And there will be a little bit of Karen Deco Pigment paint liner here and there on there as well. All in all, yeah, I'm fairly happy with the skin. Again, I am dead hard about doing another layer on it just so the shadows are a little bit deeper in parts, but yeah, I kind of left it at that point in the end, obviously. Hair is just like fast, I think, on here. Obviously they keep a little bit of a sharper point for a little bit longer than the luminance. Colour palette is slightly different as well from the luminance. And same for eyebrows, that's also light fast. Most of the details on here are light fast, can't read my own writing. Maybe a little bit of luminance and a little bit of Holbein on some of the fish. But I've still used, for me, quite a lot of light fast rather than luminance and Holbein for some of these details, because I wanted the colour palette to be a little bit more muted, and I do find light fast have a bigger range of colours in more muted tones that are not quite as bright. Background is just luminance pencils. I think I did use a little bit of Derwent Blender pen, these things, just to try and flatten it a bit because I didn't want too much texture. It's still a little bit, if I'm honest, I probably could have done with doing another coat of it, but it gets to that point, don't you? And like I say, I've had a bit of a month, so I was like, it's going to have to do, because I'm not going to have enough time to do it again. Posca pens, Artex paint pens, Truly Art paint pens, all the paint pens in the world are on this page, and a bit of Signo Sparkling Gold, Blue and Green are the glittery bits. I think there's some bits in the sea, there's some bits in the fish, there's some bits on her jewellery. But yeah, I enjoyed doing this page this month. Like I say, I'm not a great mermaid colourer. I definitely will not be doing full mermaids 1 month for mermaid, no. I don't mind a couple, but I'm not going to do it all month. That would just, I'd get a bit bored of it, I think. But I did enjoy doing this, though the hair, as you can imagine, did take quite a while. Yeah, and she's my last page this month. Quite pleased with her. Another page in my favourite book, Magical Dawn, that needs a clean, don't look too much. And yeah, that's it for this month. So hopefully there was something that interested you. No great, amazing double pages this month, just did not have the time. I've enjoyed what I've done. I would have liked to have done some more, but life gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it? So you get done what you can get done in the time. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying your colouring. From Wendy and Ebby's. Goodbye. Bye-bye.